Welcome to For Book Lovers Only Live Radio, where we discuss amazing books written by talented authors. For Book Lovers Only Live Radio is a proud member of the Village Connector Media Network. If you love books, we have a home for you. Now time for your host and chief book lover, Rob Brown.
Hello, book lovers, and welcome to For Book Lovers Only Live Radio, where if you love books, we have a home for you. My name is Rob Brown, your internet radio host and chief book lover, and so excited to be with you on this Sunday afternoon. Always happy to spend my Sunday afternoons with book lovers out there. Thank you so much for stopping by and tuning in. If you are a first-time viewer, or perhaps you viewed a few of our episodes but have not yet joined our Book Lovers Club, we want to cordially invite you to join. We will be having some contests coming up, and we'll be keeping you posted of new authors, new books, book fairs, new events in our quarterly newsletter. Please visit www.forbookloversonly.com and join the family. It's www.forbookloversonly.com. It's absolutely free, and we love to welcome you aboard, so please join today. Now, for today's call-out guest, this is a very special episode. It's a very sensitive episode. She is an inspiring, award-winning advocate whose work centers on increasing awareness of the harsh realities of childhood sexual abuse. Now, as a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, through her own process of trying to understand what happened to her, she discovered that there was very little information about the subject of sexual abuse, even in the library. It was as if sexual abuse was a secret that no one wanted to talk about, that it was taboo. Since then, she has educated herself and now actively seeks opportunities to speak about the importance of awareness, to share the resources that she's personally vetted, to educate people who want to know and do more, and to offer information and encouragement to fellow survivors, their family, and their friends. She has over 15 years of advocacy, which included her persistent and determined work to get both the criminal and civil statute of limitations for sexual abuse extended in her state of Massachusetts. She's written a very powerful book titled Life with My Idiot Family, a true story of survival, courage, and justice over childhood sexual abuse. Her name is Kathy Picard, and we're going to be calling her right now.
Hello?
Kathy?
Yes.
Hi, Kathy. This is Rob Brown at For Book Lovers Only Live Radio. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Rob?
Doing great. Want to welcome you to our show. We got a lot to cover today, a very, very important topic. Obviously, this is a very sensitive topic, and we want to be as respectful as we possibly can, both to you and to those who are watching. So let's kind of start out. Let's begin by just talking about your own personal journey.
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me on your show, and thank you for the listeners that are listening. So I was sexually abused from the age of 7 until I was 17 years old, and my abuser, my rapist, was my stepfather, and thinking he was my real father, but he was my stepfather, and an auxiliary police officer. So I think that's what made me not really go to the police and to tell my story. And all of the grooming process of him telling me, don't tell, it's our secret, and, giving me gifts and money and just telling me not to tell. So I just shut up, But at the age of 55 that I am now, you don't forget. You remember things such as him unlocking the bathroom door with a screwdriver and letting himself in and getting into the bathtub with me. Those things just don't go away. So it's really hard to go into detail about some of the things that he did, but today I am a very strong woman going out with a message and talking to everybody that I can about the sexual abuse that I went through.
Well, obviously you're an incredibly resilient person. You helped to actually pass laws in Massachusetts regarding sexual abuse. Let's talk about these, because the reason why I want to focus on this so much is because there are a lot of people that have experienced this that are in denial, that have experienced one of the worst things that can happen to a person, and they don't have the courage to come forward and face their accuser. You not only did, but you went to the legislature and you took action and you got things done on just a monumental scale. So let's just talk about, some of the laws that were passed in Massachusetts and how you were able to affect that.
I did. Rob, I reached out to all of my senators and all of my representatives at the Boston State House, including Robert DeLeo, our House Speaker. And I just, once I got to the angry point where what can I do? What he did to me is wrong. So I needed to find a way to get some type of justice. And then I had found out by calling a lawyer, and he said, well, Kathy, I'm sorry, there's nothing that can be done. The statute of limitations. It's too late. Your time has run out. Really? So checking with the representatives and the senators, I found out that they were working on bills. They were working on bills for criminal and for civil to help to extend the time frame. So it wasn't until September 21st, 2006, that the law was extended from 15 years to 27, meaning that a person would have to the age of 43 to go forward instead of 31 years old here in Massachusetts. I fell, Rob, less than a month short from going and getting him charged for criminal, which he would have to go to jail. So then I said, well, now what can I do? So it wasn't until June 26, 2014, that the law got extended for civil, which, as you mentioned, is monetary. So that got extended from 21 years to a person being the age of 53. And guess how old I was? 53. So, of course, I went forward. I was at the public signing at the Boston State House when former Governor Deval Patrick signed this bill into law. It was very important to me to be at the Boston State House, to be there when he signed the bill into law. I even called his house, and I said I wanted it to be a public signing because I wanted to be there. The reason being, which, don't laugh, but I wanted one of those pens that they were going to sign the bill with, not knowing that there's a whole bunch of them. So I in fact, got 2 pens that I really cherish to this day. So I was there as soon as the governor signed the bill into law. I texted my attorney, and I said, let's go. It's time to get a court case against my perpetrator. So we did. We started a court case, and I went through a 4-day jury trial. It started on November 2nd, and it was finished on Friday, November 5th, 2015, with an eight-panel jurors that went forward, heard my case, heard him. He did not have an attorney. He represented himself. He thought he could get a court-appointed attorney, but that's only for criminal. So for civil, you have to pay for an attorney, which, of course, he was really upset that he had to hire an attorney. So the case went forward, and then on November 5th, that's when the jurors made a decision, and I was very fortunate that they found in my favor of the case. It was very hard to do as a survivor, having him question me about 5 feet away from me and asking me questions. And not only for one day, but he had told the judge, he said, well, I'm not done with her. And he had me go up on the stand 2 days. So the next day I went up on the stand, and my husband said to me, Kathy, if there's anything you need to say, you need to say it on this day, because you're not going to get that chance again. And I said, you know what, there is something I want to say. So when he asked me the question, are you happy that everybody knows or thinks that I attacked you, that I raped you? And I said, yes, because you are a rapist. And to say those words, Rob, were so meaningful to me, to just let him know that he's a rapist. So I felt good about that. But going through the trial, which is in my book, one of the hardest things that I went through was I had a brain tumor. My doctor's office had called me and said, Kathy, we need to see you right away. So I went in there, and that's when they said, you have a brain tumor. And I said, I can't have it operated on. I have to go through this trial because, I kept on thinking if something happened to me, if I passed, then I wouldn't be able to go to court. And working hard on getting these bills passed was so meaningful to me that my health took a step back. So I'm glad that it's over. It took a while. Of course, after the trial was done, my stepfather wrote to the judge and said, can we have this all just go away? I mean, that's how,
wow.
Stupid. He just wanted the whole thing just to go away. So it didn't go away, obviously. But, I talk all about it in detail in my book talk about my childhood from the young age of 7 until I was 17, being sexually abused by this man, to where I am today with all my advocacy work. Getting out there, I've been doing this for over 15 years, speaking to everyone that I can. I speak at the police academy because my stepfather was an auxiliary police officer, so I feel as though it's important to let them know signs that they can look for, what they can do, their tone of voice, their eye contact is very important when they get called on these cases of what they can say to these young innocent people and to adults as well.
I see.
I speak to nurses. Some people think I'm crazy, but I actually go into the correctional facilities and I speak to our female and male inmates as well as the staff. And just, like I said, doing everything that I can. I started a support group for survivors, and I actually just started my own cable access show, Can Be Heroes Conversations, last month.
Oh, excellent. It seems like you're really, taking a lot of action to make sure, that justice is served and that those victims out there are able to have access to justice and hopefully be able to prevent it in the first place. Let's go back a little bit to when you were petitioning the state legislature to extend these laws and to have these laws more favorable to victims. Like, what type of reaction did you get from family, friends, the general public? Were they supportive, or were people just like, oh, she's just a troublemaker? Like, how did people respond to you? Because I imagine you had a wide range of responses.
The reps and the senators, because there's over 6,000 bills at the State House. So the squeaky wheel gets the worm, I guess is what they say. So I kept on calling, and to the point where when I would call, they would say, Kathy Picard, yes, we know who you are. And I was thinking to myself, yes, I'm doing my job. They know who I am. I need to get this message out. They need to hear my story, and they need to pass these laws because it just needs to be done. And, of course, family members, Rob, Kathy's just looking for attention. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's making up lies. So you're going to get the put downs from the family members. That's why today I don't really associate with them for obvious reasons. But the legislators, the reps, and the senators, they were supportive when the bills got passed. For the civil, they all were in favor of passing these bills. There was 160 reps and 40 senators, and they all voted in favor of passing that law.
Well, obviously you've been through a lot. Sexual abuse for 10 years, and then when you were taking action towards getting vindication and justice, you had an incredible health challenge. Tell us a little bit about just your inner strength. A lot of people facing all that would just kind of quit. Like, tell us a little bit about your inner resiliency and your inner strength and how you're able to just push on and press forward.
It's easier to quit. It's not as much work to quit, but you just keep going. You get people that are negative in your life, and that's why to live a happy, healthy life, especially after being sexually abused, you need to find positive. You need to find people with support, and that's friends and family. And you know what? If your family's not there to support you, you can find family in your friends. And that's kind of like the road that I took, because a lot of my family are not in my life now, So I have friends that are sisters to me that my sisters will never be. So you need to find the support that you need. You need to get educated. Because awareness and education does offer prevention, and you need to get counseling. A lot of people will ask me that. Well, Kathy, did you get counseling? And yes, I did. The first counselor wasn't really helpful. The second one, through the transcribing, my personal information was divulged. And finally, Rob, the third one, she told me, Kathy, you need to forget about it and go on with your life. And I'm thinking, I'm paying you a copay, and you're telling me to forget about it? Needless to say, I never went back to see her. So you need to find all of those things, and you need to want to help yourself. And I'm not saying that everybody can go through it, But, you need to want to do it for yourself first. You need to be a little bit strong because it's hard. It's hard. And people, the worst things you can say to a survivor was, why didn't you tell someone? And you do, like, as you get older, and this happened to me, as you get older, you do blame yourself because it's like, well, why didn't I tell when I was younger? Did I like it? And, as the time goes on, you really resent that you did not tell. So to say that to somebody is not a good thing to say. You need to, instead, you can say, I'm here to listen, to help you, but when you're ready to talk. Or people will say, it happened such a long time ago, forget about it. That's not a good one. And the third one that I wanted to share is that it only happened once, it's not that bad. Well, you know what? Once is too many times.
Right.
Because that will happen. You hear a lot about it at in the colleges, that somebody was sexually assaulted. Well, that one time is going to stay with them for a very long time. But you really need to get the help. Like I said, support, and I've had a lot of support in my life. I'm very thankful for that, and I've met a lot of great people. So that's what I do, is I just go out and just try to help people the best that I can, and men and women as well. Because some people will say, well, it doesn't really happen to men. Well, it does. 1 in every 6 males before their 18th birthday will be sexually abused.
Wow.
And women, it's 1 in every 4 before their 18th birthday.
Those are sobering statistics.
Yeah, the statistics are very alarming. And the other thing is, a lot of people, those people that are teaching stranger danger, it's not your stranger danger. It's people like my stepfather, like teachers, like coaches, like priests. They come in and out of your home daily. So it's people that we invite in our home, people that the child knows, but teaching them that they need to tell. They need to be able to tell you if something is making them feel uneasy or somebody is hurting them, that they can go to you. And not teaching them once, but continuously teaching them that it's wrong if somebody touches you in your private parts.
Right. Now, from your advocacy, from your courage, from taking action from this, you have received numerous awards. Can you talk a little bit about these?
Yes, and I'm very honored to receive these awards, Rob. I received the Founders Day Award from the Zonta Club of Quebec Valley. This is a huge international women's group empowering women through service and advocacy work. So in 2014, I was honored to receive their award, as well as the William Pinchon Award, which is huge in Springfield, Massachusetts. Usually they pick 4 people, and I was the sole recipient that year. So that was quite an honor. And I wanted just to share one thing. I don't go to church because of the priest abuse, which is probably a poor excuse, but I don't go. And they had told me during the Pinchon Award, you need to have a priest come. And I'm like, oh my God, I really don't know. And so somebody had said to me, well, Kathy, why don't you ask the bishop? You go right up the ladder. So I did. I called up the bishop and I said, can you come to this award? And he says, I would be honored. So of course, when he came, we're sitting at the head table, and my husband said, so Bishop, what exactly do you do? and the bishop just laughed, and I was like so humiliated. But he said, don't worry, a lot of people say that to me. So, but since then we became really good friends. So that was quite an honor to get the William Pinchon Award and the MOVA Award in 2013, Massachusetts Officer Victims Assistance, as well as citations from the governor and representatives and senators. But, Rob, it's not about the awards. It's about, it makes me feel good to go out and to be able to educate people, because I don't want an innocent young girl or boy to have to go through what I did, at nighttime laying in your bed and waiting for somebody to approach them and tell them to go downstairs so that they can be abused. I just don't want this to continue to happen. It's probably never going to stop, but if I can lessen any of this from happening, then I feel that I've done my job.
Absolutely.
And it's not really been a job.
Absolutely. You're absolutely doing your part. Now, after writing, this book, what's next?
Well, after writing this book, which people think it's crazy because the title, Life with My Idiot Family, and why it's called that is because my mother either called us idiots or ASS holes. So it's a wonder I even know my first name. But then the subtitle, of course, A True Story of Survival, Courage, and Justice Over Childhood Sexual Abuse, does let you know that it's not a type of a comedy book. So my goal is, Rob, I really want to make this book, my story, into a movie to reach other people, to reach other audiences. So if anybody knows of, screenwriters or directors or anybody that's famous, that they can let them know that this book would actually make a great story. And people will say, well, why your book? There's so many books out there that are about sexual abuse. And I'll tell you, because it's a different type of a book. It was written by me and my husband, who is my soulmate. He found out things as we were writing this book that he never knew. So it was written by a husband and a wife team. There's testimonials in the book from important people, the governor, priests, survivors, lieutenant governors, and there's depositions of the trial that are in the book that even like other attorneys can use these when they're doing their cases. And there's resources, and I've got great reviews in there, except for one, and that one being one of my sisters who said, it's all a bunch of lies. But if you look on Amazon where the book is for sale, you'll see there's that one negative. But it took over 5 years for us to write it, and $10,000 later, because we had to make sure that our T's were crossed and our I's were dotted, because, we didn't want to get sued. So we had to take it to the level of legality and make sure that this book was written and it was done correctly.
Absolutely. We completely understand that. So for our book lovers, fans, people that are tuning in, that are watching, that this subject, obviously touches them, and they want to learn more, or maybe they're victims themselves, and they want to be in contact with you, to learn more about you, and just try to figure out what's the best way for them to come forward and get help. What would your contact information be?
Well, there's much contact, especially with social media. So they can go to my website, kathypicard.com. I have a Facebook, Kathy Picard. Email Kathy, and this is with a K, childadvocate@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram, and as we mentioned, my book is on Amazon. It's in book format as well as Kindle format. And they can even give me a call, Rob, on my cell, which is 413-575-4674 in the Massachusetts area.
Okay. Can you repeat your cell number just one more time?
Sure. It's 413-575-4674. And I'd be happy to talk with them about just even if they want to talk or, to find out information, because like everybody else, I don't know the answers to everything, but I would be more than happy to try to get an answer for them.
Kathy, thank you so much for your story, for your strength, for your resiliency, for your fortitude, and just for paving a way for other childhood sexual abuse victims to come forward and get justice and start the journey of becoming whole at some point. We really want to thank you so much, and thank you for this very powerful book, and we look forward to staying in touch with you and to learning more, and just everyone educating themselves about this so that we can prevent this and hopefully at some point, hopefully in the future, eliminate it altogether. So thank you, Kathy, so much.
I agree. Thank you so much, Rob.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Book lovers, we want to thank you so much for tuning in. The book, Life with My Idiot Family by Kathy Picard, is available on www.forbookloversonly.com. That's www.forbookloversonly.com. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Rob Brown, your internet radio host and chief book lover, and this is For Book Lovers Only Live Radio, where if you love books, we have a home for you. Take care. We'll see you next time.